Hello and welcome to the corner. I'm the Frosted Glass, and I'm joined by my fellow Alabaster Savages. I like boobs.
You a hoe!
So, Moonshock.
Just make sure that you're not sensitive as a clit, because you know what'll happen after that.
Yeah, you'll pull your groin muscle. Pterodiomantis.
Look, we don't want this channel getting taken down. So as a precaution, tell us the name of any Jew you want in chat and we will publicly declare that we hope they get gassed first.
Yeah, safety first.
That's right.
And this week's special guest, Jack Cochran.
I like turtles.
So does my wife. That's amazing.
Coincidence.
Wait a second. What the hell have you been? Never mind.
You a hoe!
Hey, don't you call my wife a hoe, you son of a bitch. I'll kill you.
If they both like turtles, they're obviously secret lovers.
Secret lovers.
Man, I do not have that kind of time.
Wait, are you saying that my wife's not worth your time?
I'm saying no woman is worth my time right now.
What if she's a hot Asian?
Oh, well, that's different. That's not a regular woman, is it?
Okay, continue.
All right, so why don't we start with our first story, which has nothing to do with Jack being the guest at all.
Oh.
God.
Diversity and
What about
representation
Batman?
aren't for you, random white guy.
Oh, God.
I'm a random white guy.
Quit griping about it and accept that there are people other than white men in the world.
There is?
X'd it out. X'd it
Apparently.
out.
I mean, I never hang out with anyone else, so, you know, I don't know.
Uh-huh. I'll have to look into that because there's other skin colors. What are you talking about?
Let me tell you a story about someone. It's a straight cis white guy, so you know that it'll be good.
I'm sure that there will be no broad generalizations in this article at all.
Is there some dumb word that you can use for other people, like how they call straight people cis? Is there some other dumb, stupid ass sounding word that you can use for other people and their orientations?
Retarded.
Nigger?
Yeah.
Oh, that works. Ooh.
Yeah, there are a lot. You just get in trouble for saying them.
Yeah. I mean, if someone is gay, you can call them a fagot. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's French, I think.
Why can't
Yeah.
you just call them
Yeah.
a cigarette?
Yeah, that works too.
Well, it's like that one word, Dumas.
Dumas.
Yeah.
This ignorant little white dude is walking through the toy section of Target with his girlfriend. Well, there's your first
Why?
mistake. Target is overpriced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Target
not
sucks.
Target, it's Target.
That's true.
They allow black people in there?
I hope
Well,
not.
yeah, somebody's got to work there.
I never see any black people in Target.
Who do you think the targets are? Anyway.
Now you're making sense.
Never thought about that. They were hunting black people in Target. That's weird. I pay
as,
more attention to my surroundings.
as they pass through the doll section, she comments that she really likes the diversity in skin colors among the dolls.
Dump her now.
This didn't happen. Yeah.
Not content to let this go uncommented upon, he says something about there being obligatory diversity for the dolls.
Right.
There is.
His wife,
Yeah.
his wife, who is a patient person, grabs him, looks him in the eyes, and says, "Black girls want dolls that look like them too."
So she's retarded. But also, is it his wife or his girlfriend? This person needs to make up his mind.
Yeah, this is made up because she doesn't like grab him and be like, "Oh my God, black girls need representation too." No, she probably grabbed him and looked at him and was like, "Not in public."
Yeah.
And-
that
and
makes me
then-
think-
And then everyone in the store stood and clapped.
Yeah.
All the little kids were like, "Yes."
And that
Yes.
wife's name, Albert Einstein.
Yeah,
So,
yes, Queen Slay.
Go on,
Our-
Sophie, go.
Our ignorant little white dude backpedals as hard as he possibly can, stuttering and stumbling about how he never thought of that, and he just sort of
That
thought
was
it
his
was a
first
token
mistake.
thing.
That was his first mistake.
Was this on a sitcom? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, lady. He turns
Yeah.
into Jerry Lewis and becomes some neebish little half-tard. I'm sorry, I did not know that was mean.
Yeah, it's the
I
kind
am fat and stupid.
it's the kind of thing that totally happens in real life, where one sentence totally changes a person's worldview.
Of course.
His wife, who's continuing to be patient with him, nods along and explains that diversity in skin tone of the various dolls isn't for people like them, both white, to check a box. Rather, they are for the many millions of children in America with skin tones that are darker than saltine cracker white.
Okay, there's no fucking way that this happened at all. 0%.
Yeah.
This is a lie. You're a
this-
No,
liar.
no. I think this is a very exciting story, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah,
Even for a fake story, it's boring. You're a boring human being. Does anything happen in your brain at all?
No. Stop.
I feel judged right now.
Humboldt, the ignorant white dude in this story, learned his lesson that day, which is, sadly, more than a lot of ignorant white dudes can say about this kind of thing. The lesson...
Do you guys know what the lesson is? The lesson
Don't
is
be white.
don't let
Don't
white
be
women
white.
talk.
Yeah, don't be white.
Don't let white women talk.
Yeah, why
Uh,
wasn't
that's
she
another
2
good
steps
lesson.
behind him?
Yeah. She should be at least one aisle over.
Yeah, Islam was right about women.
Yeah, the grocery section is
why
over
is-
there.
Yeah.
Why is the man shopping at all? That's the woman's job.
Well,
Yeah.
she needs permission to go out, and sometimes you got to supervise. Oh, you're going to
Yeah, you
Target?
need to chaperone them, otherwise they cause problems.
That's right, because otherwise another man could look at her in a
Yeah.
sexual
Can't have
manner. She
Uh,
should be wearing a burqa.
Target is the gateway to Starbucks.
Uh,
Next thing you know, she's hooked on that pumpkin spice, and you
Yeah.
don't want her blowing some barista in the back so that she could get some more of that sexy pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The lesson? Representation isn't for him, but for the people that are being represented. The thing that bothers me about this story is that so many ignorant white guys refuse to take this lesson. They go on Reddit and Twitter and wherever else they can find a platform and gripe about diversity in movies, TV, comics, or wherever people other than straight cis white dudes are represented. They call it things like woke and forced diversity, and other nonsense
Both of
phrases.
those things.
No, they're nonsense phrases, Terry. It says right there.
My mistake.
That are meant to rile up racists and bigots everywhere.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, the people who are being represented in these various forms of media are glad that there are characters that look like them. There are
No,
stories
they're
of
not.
all black people love this, Jack.
If it's on the internet, it must be true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it's why all of those movies that are known for being forced diversity are the most popular movies ever made.
Ghostbusters 2016 is the best Ghostbusters because it's got girls in it. That's just facts.
Yeah.
Yes, it is so woke.
There are stories of a young black boy in comic shops who are amazed to find out their favorite hero, Spider-Man, looks like him now. Miles Morales, if you're interested. Muslims.
I
Here's
wasn't.
here's an idea. Maybe you should make your own superhero. One that you didn't have to rip off from someone else, that you're wearing like a skin suit.
Yeah, I find it kind of stunning that they are encouraging black people to steal. Like,
Well,
oh, here's a
I mean-
superhero, steal that. That's
But
ours
even
now.
beyond that, it's saying, look, you're not good enough to have like original superheroes, but you can take the white person's good superheroes and kind of just darken them up a bit. That's all you deserve.
Yeah,
just
hand
put-
me downs.
Just put Peter Parker in blackface. Wouldn't that be
There you
better?
go.
It's about the same thing, really. There have been black superheroes since the 40s with Negro Man in Jungle Comics,
Yeah,
which was written by black people. Don't give me any shit for that. So
I would
this is low as
love
shit.
if they made a Negro Man movie.
Well, yeah.
Negro man. No, don't worry.
Well,
Black people wrote it.
there was Lion Man as well. I think he was actually the first one was Lion Man. So yeah, this is a load of shit. Just because first of all, there's not that many comic shops. So actually having a kid go into a comic shop when the average age demographic is in their 40s, pretty unlikely. Second of all, that kid can't afford a comic book. They're $4 to $6 a piece now. And he's not gonna give a shit. He's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, there's a black kid there. All right, can I play on my phone again now? Thank you."
No, the representation argument actually makes sense because if you think about it, The Simpsons is like one of the biggest, most popular shows ever, and only people with jaundice really watch it.
And Asians.
I think it's funny that people like this, complain how white people have a lack of empathy or some bullshit. When it's very obvious that if you can't connect to someone who doesn't look like you, it is you who is lacking in the empathy department.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it does say a lot about the whole culture argument. White people have no culture, yet you keep needing to steal from it in order to make your own thing. That's just lazy.
Oh, it was appropriated, so they're just taking it back.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
Jack, as a fellow fat guy, like you agree with me that when Thor was fat in Endgame, you identified with him much more.
No, because he didn't sit around on the couch. He actually went out and did stuff, and I found that offensive. And then he lost the weight, which is very fat phobic.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
Yeah, really.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, only black people watched that because white people could never relate.
Yeah.
Mm.
Muslims, particularly Pakistani Muslims, are really digging Ms. Marvel, even if it's not perfect. Oh, by the way,
No, they're not.
By the way, I was watching Jeopardy, and there was a question about like TV shows, and it's like, this show about Kamala Khan or something or other, and he ends the question, silence. Nobody buzzes in because nobody's heard of it.
yeah, they've tried for almost a decade now to make Kamala Khan a thing, and she's not popular. Her powers are stupid. They actually improved them by making him a Green Lantern knockoff in the TV show. No little girl wants to have extending powers so they can look more awkward.
Well, if her name was Kamala Khan, was her special power being able to blow guys for power?
Shockingly, no.
So what superhero is this? What is the superhero name for Kamala
Miss
Khan?
Marvel.
Oh, okay.
And
Miss Marvel, did she solve mysteries?
No.
Oh, is that the one that Brie Larson bitch did, or was that Captain
No,
Marvel?
that was the original Miss Marvel. This is somebody that's a fan of hers. When Miss Marvel became Captain Marvel, she assumed the name, even though her powers are nothing like that.
Oh, for God's
Her
sake.
powers involve her like Mr. Fantastic, where she can make her limbs bigger, and she could get taller that way too. That's it. She could stretch.
Yeah.
Hey Jack, are there any accurate numbers for how much these comics actually sell these days?
Not anymore, because they changed the way they record it because the sales were so bad. At one point, Miss Marvel was selling less than 1,000 copies. So they were like,
I did hear that there was one particular manga in Japan that outsold the entirety of the US comic industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like one manga outsold the entire US comic industry. That's how bad things have gotten.
It's hard to do.
To be fair, it was probably hentai or something.
I am not surprised, and I'll tell you why. I've gone to the mall a few times in recent history. Within the past year or so, I've gone at least several times. I go by every single store. They are all selling manga shit. They're all selling Japanese shit. I don't see any superhero stuff. I go to the comic book shop. Was it Newbury Comics? I think it was. And they have massive displays full of manga. The new comic books are in a tiny little case in the back, hidden from view.
So the important question: do they still have the Simpsons comic? Is that still around?
No, that's not around. That has been around for a couple years now.
I didn't know that even existed.
Seriously, they are eating our goddamn lunch.
That's because they're writing stuff that young men want to read, which is their target demographic for action adventure. Whether anyone wants to admit it or not, your target demographic is 8 to 20 for any kind of like printed sequential art and animation, quite frankly.
I don't trust it. Anime characters, they always have their, brightly, oddly colored hair. And who else has bright, oddly colored hair? Feminists.
That's true. Feminists have ruined that with their venomous streaks. But no, if you look at the average manga, the ones that are selling really big are action, adventure, and comedy. And they're all targeted toward middle to high school kids. And the fact that other people read them is peripheral because their target demographic is that age range. They're written toward that literature level. The jokes are often at that level, and they make cultural references at that level.
Sounds awfully ageist to me.
And honestly, it's not even like that's all the manga that exists, because there's manga for everything.
Oh yeah,
Every single demographic, if you can name it. The key distinction is that it's written better. It is written better than what is being produced in America today.
If you go back to the 70s, 80s, and any time before that, quite honestly, you will see that same marketing strategy at play. They just copied the Western comic book style of sales and marketing, and they made it into a more book-length material. Because a lot of the stuff that was originally done in Japan was serialized in magazines, and like Shonen Jump does. But now they have them more collected in book format, which is similar to what we have for graphic novels and trade paperbacks. Except
I believe those are called tankobons.
I don't fucking know. I can't talk Japanese. I just make sweet love to their ladies. I don't want to talk with them.
Why do we even have to call it manga? Why can't we just call it Japanese comics?
I don't know.
Or Japcom for
They
short.
call it that.
Japcom.
Call it that. I mean, they used to refer to anime as Japanese cartoons.
Yeah, most of us still do, but they try and class it up. You know, it's not a cartoon, it's anime.
It's like when they switched from comic books to graphic novels. Bullshit, they're comic books and everyone knows it.
Yeah, but there's a specific reason they did that, and that was the bookstore ability, because the average comic book had trouble getting on the shelf because they are stapled. Graphic novels are perfect bound, which is a square binding, and often they're saddle stitched as opposed to stapled. So, or they're glued. So they actually will fit on a bookshelf. And that's why they had to call them graphic novels, because they could put them on a shelf and they were tended to be more adult, so you could distinct them from the teenage audience of the regular floppy comics. That's why they went to that. So they were longer, they were able to be put on a bookshelf, and then bookstores would pick them up because they had an actual ISBN number then.
I still think that the primary reason for them calling it graphic novels instead of comic books is because they wanted to appeal to an older audience. So they called it something that sounded more adult, so that people wouldn't feel, insecure about reading comic books.
Well, there's that
I
too.
think that's a big part of it.
But they were much more mature. They dealt with themes and had blood in them, that sort of thing. So you couldn't have the comic code seal of approval on a graphic novel because of the content. So they were trying to make it more literally graphic, like the magazine versions like Savage Sword of Conan and Planet of the Apes. Those were aimed at adults. And if you wanted to put something similar to that in a bookstore, you had to have an ISBN number. You had to change the format. You couldn't just have it stapled. So you could leave it on the shelf longer than the 30-day lifespan of the comic.
Additionally, representations of queer relationships in shows like Owl House and Steven Universe are important.
Fuck Steven Universe. What garbage.
I've never seen it.
Are important
Revenge
steps
of the Cal Arts bullshit.
Are important steps forward for LGBTQ folks. Small though they may be. The increasing diversity of race representation in kids' media like Amphibia and Turning Red also allows kids of various cultures and ethnic identities to see themselves represented among the protagonists.
Hmm.
Unfortunately,
I've always felt that if you're gonna have someone representing you, don't let shitty things represent you. Demand better representation. Honestly, if that's gonna be your angle, if you feel that you want to see yourself represented, whatever, that's your prerogative. But don't just settle for the horse shit that they're putting out. Look at it, see it for being the shit that it is, and say, I want better, damn it.
Yeah, I need trans goat herder representation from that poppy farmer in Afghanistan. And see, he
Afghanistan.
has to herd his sheep, and then he goes and harvests poppy for his dad, so that they can get Americans addicted on it and make more money for the Taliban. Where's that? Huh? Where's that comic?
I mean,
Just because that person identifies as a girl and they really have a dingleberry.
that would honestly be a more interesting comic than a lot of the woke comics.
Oh yeah.
Oh well, yeah, but that's a low bar. I could sit here and watch the paint dry, and it'd be more interesting.
What was that one that Quiz always complained about?
America Chavez?
That's it.
That was dog shit.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't seem to like this increase in diversity in the media, whether for kids or otherwise, and the people who don't like it tend to be ignorant white guys. They are upset, for some reason, that the heroes of the stories being told are no longer exclusively straight white cis guys and girls, but rather Bipic and Ligatia folks.
Bipic.
Yeah, that's such a stupid argument because there were gays in comics before it was socially acceptable. There were people of color in comics since the beginning, so that's a load of shit. And the sales are bad because the writing is garbage, and they make them generic characters with no depth, no personality beyond I am this. I am black, I am gay. That's it. That's their entire personality. That's not interesting. They do not go out and have adventures. That's why Son of Kal-El got canceled, because it's hot fucking garbage. And it's just about him trying to bang this boy that he's dating, and they have stupid hairdos, and his cape has the pride flag sewn in it like it's Joseph's fucking Technicolor Dreamcoat.
I
No,
am black, I am gay, and I hate you.
There were no black characters in comics before Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yes.
They would
that is
have you
correct.
believe that.
But
Absolutely.
honest, it's not just that it's bad writing, it's that it's openly antagonistic towards the reader.
Oh, absolutely. Because they know that the majority of people that buy comic books are white. And unfortunately, it's an aging demographic. So it's a dying industry because they're chasing away their target demographic, and they're chasing away anybody else that might come along because of the movies, because of this political nonsense, and they're killing their own industry.
I say let it die.
It probably will in the next 5 years.
I'm sick of it. Just let it die.
Let it die and let it be reborn. And then when there's no audience left, that's when the pioneers will come back. And really, that's where it always belonged, with the pioneers.
Well, it'll end up in like boutiques. You know, it'll be a very niche thing, way more than it ever was before.
I don't fully understand why these people are upset about this. White people have been the heroes of too many stories in America, which makes sense from a historical perspective, because they've been the dominant race, in many senses of the word, for a long time. However, the percentage of people who identify as solely white has dropped to a bit over 60% of the total population, and notably, only 53% of the population under age 18. Meanwhile, the percentage of people who identify as just about any other race has increased, most notably among people who identify as 2 or more races, which saw the most dramatic...
Notice she's saying people who identify as instead of people who are.
Well, I mean, if you vilify white people enough, does it surprise anyone that people are like, "Oh no, I'm not just white. I've got some good person in me as well."
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we didn't have a comic shop anywhere near us, so I had to go to like the drugstore and get my comics. You bought what was on the newsstand. If you didn't like something, you didn't buy that title. But I was reading like Power Man and Iron Fist, Master of Kung Fu, all throughout the 70s and 80s. You know why? Because that's what was available, and those characters were badass. You go back and read that stuff now, it's like reading a fucking action movie. They can't do that now because, well, you can't show black people as heroic for some reason. They all have to, all the black men have to be like these pussies now. It used to have like Shaft and guys like that, the black exploitation films that made all the black people look really fucking cool. You can't do that anymore. They don't have explosions around them. They're not out there saving anybody anymore. Now they're just like, oh well, I'm so oppressed. Oh, fucking suck it up. Stop being a baby. Used to be cool, man. Used to be beautiful. What happened? You're like Canada now.
Black people have been Canadized.
Yeah, it's awful.
Uh,
Sorry, Adela, you need to move to the States.
Just over 15% of people under age 18 identify as bi or multiracial. So too can you see this reflected in kids' media these days, with one of our household's current shows, The Ghost and Molly McGee, featuring a protagonist whose mother is Thai and whose father is Irish.
Oh, wait. There was a character, what was his name? Miguel O'Hara, who was Latino and Irish, and he was Spider-Man 2099 in 1992.
What's your point, Jack?
He was awesome. What you're describing is trash.
Yeah, but he doesn't count.
Yeah, that's fucking dumb.
I'm surprised. Have they tried to replace him yet with a white person?
No, they tried to play up with the fact that he's Latino. Well, they were like, oh, he's Mexican. He's got an accent. That's fucking dumb. He grew up in New York.
Well, did he didn't have red hair, did he? Because if so, he's doomed.
No, he had like brown hair.
Oh, okay.
Thankfully, they didn't make him soulless. He's a hero. Sorry, that's why Jimmy Olsen's not a real hero. Sorry, Frosted.
Hey, it's okay. We'll have all you people in camps one day. So
when the Dark Lord returns.
Yes.
That said, I know that part of the reason that people are upset about this is, simply put, racism and bigotry. I know that we're used to more explicit racism, like white supremacists demonstrating in the streets against Disney or whatever, but this is sneakier stuff. It's people like Elon Musk griping about a low birth rate and how America won't survive unless millennials pump out more babies.
Well, that's true.
What does that have to do with anything?
It is correct, though.
Everything.
Why is she criticizing an African American?
Yeah.
These people are amazing. They have one speed, and that is regurgitate virtually every single talking point that I have all the time over everything.
They operate at the speed of re.
No matter how unrelated it is to the topic at hand, I must get out every single opinion that has been explained to me that I have.
Well,
Also,
she's complaining about American culture and all this, but she's ignoring the biggest market of manga and anime, which is Japan, which is a homogenous society. But their culture of these books and entertainment in general has bled over to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But we're going to ignore that so we can shit on Whitey for some reason. This is dumb. This woman is not smart. She has no idea what she's talking about. This is a woman, isn't it?
Have you not? I mean, obviously you have noticed, but I just find it interesting that none of these people seem to apply all of this racist garbage to all of those monocultured countries like China and Japan. Other countries that have, like, the vast majority of them have one skin color, one culture, one basically race. and
Because
they're
white
not
people
so
bad.
happy. Well, there's not, and they're also not so happy about having outsiders becoming citizens, and they resist it. Yet
Yeah.
they're just fine. Yet if you do that in America, you racist piece of shit. And it's only applied to white people too, for whatever reason.
Yeah, they
All
only
I
ever
want to know
apply.
is when are they going to mention Trump in this article? We've been
Oh,
waiting.
I'm sure they'll get there.
Probably at the very end.
We keep interrupting. Sorry, Frosted, but this really does piss me off. This anti-Western attitude and mentality is very, very dangerous to the planet. Look at how much awesome stuff the West has created in the
Yeah.
last 500 years.
Well, the thing is, they don't want advancement anymore.
No, they want to
advancement means-
retrograde everything.
Yes, because advancement means more free thinking, and they don't want people thinking free.
No, you have to lock into these ideologies to fracturalize everyone, and it's based on faulty logic to begin with, but it's also based in a really dangerous communistic mentality that's going to get a lot of people killed, because the more people buy into this, the more militant they're going to become. But shitting on entertainment is a great way to further your cause. If they eliminate more stuff, then they silence those voices and opinions and thoughts, and by doing that, eventually you start getting to like Thomas Paine and the founding fathers and people that wanted more freedom of speech, people that had ideas that were like, we should all get along and be nice to each other. They have to demonize that in order to achieve their goal, and it's really disturbing. Because if you go back to early issues of like the Falcon being in Captain America, there's one issue that's like the third or fourth appearance of Falcon, where Falcon just becomes Cap's partner in fighting crime. And this woman who's black insists that Sam join with her and get away from this evil, oppressive white dude. And Sam is like, no, he's the greatest person I've ever met. And if you can't get past his skin color, I don't want to be around you. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. But that was written for middle schoolers. And that is much more of what I'm prepared to accept as a comic book and as a character than this modern shit of like, oh, fuck you. I'm not some white blonde man holding this shield. I'm a strong black man. Fuck you.
But-
You need to do better.
Yeah. The point being that black heroes are superior. This is of course implying that we make more white babies. After all, when barely over 50% of people under 18 are white, the future's looking much more diverse.
Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody cares about what your melanin content is. The only people that care are these race hustlers that want to cause division.
And have you also noticed that the vast majority of these race hustlers are white themselves?
Shockingly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Immigration, interracial relationships, and minorities generally having more kids don't make it easy for white supremacists to hold on to power.
You know, just because you want to see and work toward the betterment of a certain race, even if it's the whites, that doesn't make you a supremacist. You know, in no way, shape, or form does anybody who wants to better their own race, that doesn't make them a supremacist in any way, in any reasonable way. You know, I can't see like a black guy who is like, yeah, I just want to make sure that that I do good for the black community, blah blah blah. I don't see that guy as a racist. Now, if he says because I'm anti-white and I don't want to see whitey, then yeah, that I would see that as racist. But as far as I'm concerned, if you want to see the betterment of your own race, that is in no form to me any kind of supremacist idea or idealism. So there's a very big difference between being a racist and being a supremacist, and then being somebody who just wants to see their race, at least exist and survive a little bit longer. Because right now, all we're doing is we're just spiraling down the drain, and they're just doing it happily.
Hey, you gotta work your way to being supreme. I'm not going to dig too far into the weeds of the dumpster fire that is American politics these days, so I'll leave that where it is. The upshot.
Hold on. But am I wrong in my thinking?
I mean, probably. I wasn't listening.
Oh,
I don't-
fuck off.
Well, they're,
I don't know.
Phantom.
I think if someone wants to help people and just focuses on one race, then that's kind of, that's kind of weird.
Well, I didn't necessarily mean it from the point of view of I don't care about other races. I just want to see the betterment of mine. I meant it from the point of view of you guys can do whatever the hell you want. I'm just trying to get this a little bit better so everybody else is also on the same page and that we are not destroying ourselves for the betterment of somebody else.
Yeah, like I was watching like a watch through of the movie Karen. The supposed horror movie, and one of the main characters, the black guy, is like, yeah, I work at a community center. I like what I do for my people. And it's like, okay, that just makes you sound kind of racist. Because you're focused on helping black people, not just helping people.
I mean, I would consider that to be kind of benign racism. If your main focus is doing something positive for one race, I would consider that very benign. It's more like if you're focused on holding back someone because of their race, which is oftentimes interpreted as just trying to help one race. For example, what's that thing? The hiring practice, the race
Affirmative
quotas.
action.
Yeah, affirmative action. We're not hiring. No, getting a job is a zero-sum game. If you give someone a job based on their skin color, that means that someone else was held back because of their skin color. That is racist. That is really bad.
Well,
It's actually even more explicitly racist than that, because if you're Asian, you get counted negatively. Like that is, like if white is the baseline, Asians have a disadvantage, and blacks and Latinxes get the advantage. So they're just straight up saying, "Don't be Asian. We don't like Asians."
So even affirmative action has an upside.
Driving those sexy Asians right into my arms. Oh, I'll comfort you. You didn't get into that college because they won't take Asians. Come over here. Oh, it's okay, Mariko.
You falling off the wagon? Well, I'm right here below you.
That's right.
Someone
And then you're
Jack
gonna follow me.
Looking up your skirt.
Someone get Jack an all expense paid round the world trip to Asia and all the countries they're in.
Yeah, you mean a world tour of Jack Sexton? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Jack's Sexcapades, the tour.
Yeah, live on tour.
But the Twilight Zone style twist is that it's Thailand, and they're all lady boys.
Oh no, you always check the equipment before agreeing to anything.
Yeah.
It's Thailand. You could be like, hey, let me see the goods. And then they'll pull up their skirt and show you. So if they got a wiener, that's a no. And if they got a weird looking vagina, that probably used to be a wiener. So that's a no.
The upshot is that the diversity that is increasingly being represented in popular media is undeniably a good thing for people who look or identify in some way other than straight, cis, white, and male. If that means fewer protagonists that look like me, then that's great as far as I'm concerned.
Now that I will agree with. No one should look like this author.
Yeah.
Is this an author we've seen before? Because if not, I want to see what this fucker looks like.
I just assume that she's ugly. And I also assume it's a she.
Marvel Comics hired a woman because she had the same haircut as Riri Williams, and she was black.
All right, it sounds qualified as far as I'm concerned.
It's as qualified as you need to be, apparently.
Do you know why I don't mind? Because I have some basic level of empathy that allows me to relate to characters who don't look and
There
act
it is.
exactly like me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. So you're saying you have empathy, but you are unable to relate to white characters.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like we have the problem.
So what she's saying is that non-white people do not have empathy and can't identify with people who don't look like them.
Correct.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So what's wrong with all you non-white people? Get some empathy.
Yeah. Why aren't you exactly like me? Why don't these writers write exactly like me? That's why the Punisher has to be canceled, because there's no audience. There's no people that are actual vigilantes who had their families killed by the mob, because that's the only people that can read that are white vigilantes whose parents were slaughtered by the mob.
Well, we went to the store to try to buy some empathy, but there was none because of the pandemic. So.
I'm disappointed. I did want to read The Punisher, but one of my parents is still alive, and the other died of illness, not from lobsters. So I was close.
Yes. Sorry, man.
And
You
that's
can't read Batman unless you're a billionaire whose parents were murdered in an alley.
and that's why all Daredevil comics are in Braille.
It's true.
I mean, hey, maybe they could make the Punisher black. I mean, that would just be like black children without parents. That would be an audience.
So do you have to be a master archer to read Green Arrow?
I think the Punisher is the last character that they would do a race swap, just because the image of a black guy gunning people down would be
they went one better.
would be
Back
politically
in,
incorrect.
Back in the 90s, they gave him a treatment that turned him black, so he could experience life as a black man. It was really early virtue signaling, and it was as cringy as it sounds.
Yeah. I saw it mentioned on Twitter. I want to see a race swap to Tarzan. That's got to happen.
That's the one white dude that will always be safe. They'll just outright cancel him rather than make a black dude make monkey sounds.
If you do a stream reading that Black Punisher comic, I would totally watch that.
I'd get struck for that, unfortunately. Marvel's a little pissy about that one.
No. You just do our secret get out of jail free card and just wish that a Jew would get gassed, and then Susan lets you alone.
Yeah. I just gotta get a picture of me with Susan.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't care if the main character is female, trans, non-binary, black, Southeast Asian, Hispanic, or Latino, pansexual, asexual, or any other identity that I may or may not be able to relate to directly.
Anything but white. I get it.
They're people, they have struggles, and I can relate to that. But apparently black people can't.
But there was a really good book about this guy and his struggle. German dude.
Oh yeah, that Austrian guy from the 30s or 40s or whatever.
Yeah.
He
He's
was
like
a
a failed
painter.
painter or something.
Yeah.
He's quite.
Everybody
quite
can relate
inspirational.
to his struggle, yeah.
Well,
Diverse.
look, I can't paint either, so obviously I can relate to this guy.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, but my understanding is there are just some people he can't be dealing with.
Actually, I thought some of his paintings were pretty good. Just stuck with
I've
it.
never seen any of his paintings.
I got a signed one hanging in my house, yeah.
you
You know where they need to make a movie, like a comic book movie about the Moon Knight. So there you go, right there.
Well,
You just don't see that.
Well, they made the Disney Plus show.
Don't bring up Disney.
I think they should race swap Hitler.
Well,
They already did. His name's Ghazi Kodo.
yeah.
or I was going to say, isn't that Kanye?
I'd watch either version of that.
Or what's that guy's name? Tariq Nasheed.
Yeah.
There you go.
He hates the Jews.
And he's got a very valuable life lesson as the title of his album, Wash Your Ass.
Yeah.
That's true. He was the Jordan Peterson of the black community, I guess.
Hitler did nothing for anal hygiene.
What?
I can't tell if you're just saying that. It sounded you read it in like your I'm reading the article voice.
Yeah, that got me too. I was like, wait a minute.
Did the author really just say that Hitler did?
It's
I
not
wish.
wrong though. It's maybe that's why the little scrub brush. So when he's going down on chicks, it tickles their clit.
That was
So-
that was the biggest problem with Hitler, honestly, is that he didn't care how dirty people's asses were.
Well, I guess the fatherland smelled a lot like butthole.
Let's see. Diversity is not forced if people relate to it. And there are more than straight cis white guys who can be heroes. The sooner we all accept this, the better we'll all be. I am a firm believer that most people are capable of empathy, except blacks apparently, and can learn from their mistakes. And I believe that people can be brought around on this issue. After all, I was the straight cis white guy in the story I opened with, and in the intervening years, I've learned a lot. I always took it for granted that heroes of the story looked like me, a straight cis white guy. Why would I think in a million years that having a hero, or a doll, that looks different from me would appeal to anyone? It doesn't appeal to me, so why does it exist? I'm getting an echo
What a
from
twist!
Yeah,
It was
who's
him all
echoing?
along.
Yeah,
He was
thinks
Kaiser
like this?
Soze.
Who thinks like this? This is weird and creepy. I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures. I have Clamp Champ. I have Sunman. I had a bunch of cool toys that were diverse as a kid. Is this kid like a closet racist?
No,
First
I
of
think
all,
that
I
just
thought
means
this
that
was
you're
a
very
woman.
racially confused, Jack. You didn't know if you were a green turtle or what. You just crisis of identity, so you just related to everything.
Yeah. Or maybe just because you love Asians, you identified with Shredder.
There you go.
Maybe, yeah. I'm gonna shred some hymens. I don't know.
Jesus.
See,
Hyman
I
Shredder.
don't,
I'd read that comic.
right? I don't know. Maybe I grew up in a weird situation where we watched a lot of diverse stuff because, like, we grew up on Chopsaki Theater and Godzilla movies and all sorts of stuff. I read comic books full of characters that didn't look or act or have anything to do with me, because they had like psychic powers and could climb walls and shit. And the big green guy that smashed stuff all the time. I don't know what this person is talking about. This sounds like a giant virtue signal of I'm one of the good whiteys. I just don't understand this. Kids I knew that went to read comics, they were different colors. There was an Arabic kid in my area that was reading comic books and he loved Superman. I saw black kids buying comics all through the 90s. I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about. It
No,
blows
no,
my
no.
mind that people think this is how others are interpreting it. Unless this guy's an actual racist or
Jack,
was at one time, I don't
Those-
really grasp
those
how
kids
he's
all had
putting this out.
internalized white supremacy. That's why they were buying the white man's comics. They just hated blackness, and they were lashing out the only way they knew how.
I don't
Yeah, but
know.
there were-
A Middle Eastern kid reading Superman. I don't trust an Arab who wants to learn to fly.
Right? Well, landing's the issue. Does
Yeah.
he want to learn how to land? Yeah, but it boggles my mind that this guy thinks in such like really racist terms that only white people can only relate to this. We didn't know who was writing the comics. There were lots of black writers and artists back in the day. We didn't know because unless you were reading a magazine and that had an interview where there's a photo of them, you didn't know. Like Dennis Cohen's, I didn't know he was black for the longest time. I didn't know Christopher Priest was black. I didn't care. I wanted a good comic. That's all I cared about. I don't give a shit. Give me some action, adventure, and explosions. Why is that so hard to ask for? Why do you have to make it into something more complicated than that? The
Well,
racial stuff is
But the fried chicken grease on all the comic pages that might have tipped you off that they were black.
yeah. But
oh
well,
well.
you have the privilege of being white, so you have empathy, Jack. You got to think of the black people who don't have empathy.
Yeah,
Well,
you
black
have
people are space
empathy
plants.
privilege.
Yeah, remember these people think they're space vegetables too, because they have soul, and that melanin is gives them a soul, and white people don't have souls. Remember that shit?
Oh,
So
Well, yeah, it was melanin that helped Beethoven learn how to play music.
yeah, because he was actually black. I
Yeah.
saw Hidden Colors. I saw all four of them.
Yeah.
And Shakespeare's works were actually written by a little black girl, and Shakespeare himself couldn't read.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. Even though he actually came from a rich background and could speak Greek, that's not the point. Obviously, it was all stolen. Ninjutsu stolen by the Japanese from a black man. I saw it on
True.
Hidden Colors. Real quickly though, thank you, Uncle Adolf. We at Happy Valley have an anal brush called the Eva. Eva Braun. Thank you, Uncle Adolf.
But work on your anal hygiene.
Oh,
That's always a good idea.
Yeah, wash that shit out, or no chick's gonna touch your salad.
Yeah. All right. Thankfully, because of my partner, of course he says partner instead of wife, who is very patient and has been through a lot, I was able to see through someone else's eyes for a change, and it changed my viewpoint. A simple act of empathy was able to get me to see the other side, and at that moment I began to understand. Unfortunately, so much of the world has been run by straight cis white guys who had the same viewpoint I had. It doesn't appeal to me, so it won't appeal to anyone. However, there are loads of people who look different than I do in this country and the world, and they deserve to see themselves as heroes just as much as I do. In reality, as a straight white cis man, I am a minority on the global scale, and popular media needs to reflect that. We live in a world where shows and movies are broadcast through the world, and the stars of those movies and shows are starting to reflect not just the American population, but the global population. I think that this is broadly a good thing, but it's not 100% perfect. I'm not going
Yeah,
to
there's still some white people in comics. We need to get rid of them.
yeah.
Also,
Also,
I just say I just want to say I think that it's kind of I heard the other day someone referring to like it's gonna sound unrelated, but it's green energy and green New Deal kind of shit. They refer to that sort of thing as anti-human, which I thought was a really salient way of describing pretty much all of this crap. It is all anti-human.
Well, as I've seen pointed out many times, you are the carbon they want to eliminate.
Yeah. So like forced diversity, I think is anti-human.
Well, I look forward to getting a free Asian wife out of this so that I can make some beautiful mixed babies. Because I will diversify the Asian population as much as possible to
They need
water
it.
down the
They're
whiteness.
they're very monoculture over there. You do need to diversify things a bit.
Right? It'll help add diversity to their culture, and it'll keep me from having white babies. So
Yeah, man. Win-win.
bring it on, ladies. Oh, Mr. Jack, you're so big.
I'm not even going to touch the political muck that is Disney appeasing China for profit and its implications.
Yeah, because that's actually diversifying because they're appeasing China. So it would go against his narrative.
Still, diversity and representation in popular media are, as far as I'm concerned, incredibly good things. They show kids and adults who have different appearances and experiences from me that they too can be the hero of the story. Sure, diversity and representation aren't for me, a random white guy, but you know what? I'm okay with that. The end.
What?
55 minutes.
And
Yeah.
the first article. Well, yeah.
One down, three to go.
Yeah, it's kind of pissed off there, Frosted. Sorry.
No, that's what you're here for.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm sure there will be no other articles that pertain to something you're interested in. All right.
Yes, he's very good at turning a 7-minute read into a 50-minute read or longer.
Yeah, I'm sure you haven't been saving articles just for me because you're dead.
Oh my God, that was a white guy, Matthew Maniasi.
Well, yeah, you said about 12 different times that he was a white cis male.
I think he just misprinted supremacist. I think that's what he meant to say.
Yeah.
It sounds like he doesn't like his wife very much because she's
God.
a nag.
Is that him?
Probably.
Oh,
Is his last name Mayonnaise?
No.
Maniaci? Maniaci?
No. Oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay. I'm going
Mancini?
to all right, just give me a second. I will show you what this this guy is your stereotypical beta cuck. Here you go.
No.
There's a picture for you right there in chat. Take a look at this lovely specimen.
That's him. What a karma.
Ah!
Yeah, that
Wow.
you totally
That
want
is-
to have sex with that dude.
That is a full-on milady kind of guy.
Yeah, he took his fedora off because you do that in pictures to make him classy.
What is with the beard?
He's trying to hide that chin, and it doesn't work when you're fat.
We got the beard,
that's-
the ponytail. Ugh.
Well, that too. I'm
The ponytail's probably to hide that receding hairline, but the beard. First of all, if you can't grow a full beard, don't try. Okay.
uh-huh.
As a guy with a beard, I have a beard right now. I'm a big fat dude. It does not hide your fat. It just adds darkness to your face.
All right,
Let's be real here. This is a date rapist.
Hey, all right, as a fat guy with a beard, I can say yeah, it does hide your fat a little. Because
A
whenever
little, but not only if you have a full beard. That dude can't grow one.
whenever I'm clean shaven, I'm like, oh, I look even fatter.
Is
Yeah.
that a
Yeah.
black version of a chef's coat?
I think that he's trying to go for like the 1920s look because
Well,
it's got
he's
like
failing.
that more older look to it, but it does look like a chef's jacket. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't know. He looks like the comic relief in like a '90s kung fu.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
the-
another picture of him too, but I'm not gonna hurt you
Look
guys.
at the silly white man.
Oh,
Well, with the end of the first article comes the first game, and of course is Sad Libs
best game.
Double Prompt
Second
Edition.
Ebony said, "I usually like guys with long hair. He's not one of them."
Oh, that
That's
is
awesome.
sick burn.
He's definitely committed a sex assault or 10.
Yeah, probably
Oh.
accidentally by like falling on them.
Yeah, he's known as the goat diddler in his neighborhood.
All right, so this is the game where I take 4 headlines from Medium, take out 2 words, and you guys have to fill in those words Mad Lib style, and the chat will vote on which one is best. All right, Jack, I need a part of the body plural.
Penises.
All right, Moon, I need a transitive verb.
Violate.